Greetings, good people. I'm currently in Central Park. I felt like grounding today, so actually, I also pulled a card this morning about what I needed more of, and the card was actually grounding, so I was attuned to that. So I figured let me record from Central Park. And the last video, I promised to share about a meditation retreat that I recently returned from. And so I was in Nashville at a Dr. Joe Dispenza retreat. And I've been to a few of them now. Each one is different because I'm different at each one as well. The first retreat that I went to was in Dubai, January 2020. And for this retreat, I was really looking at how to have live together law of attraction, and that's not what Dr. Joe calls it, but law of attraction, slavery, and the Dr. Joe Dispenza method. The reason why I was looking at how to integrate all of those things is because so far at two different retreats, Dr. Joe retreats, and also when I was at the Buddhist monastery, when I've been in meditation, I've had the experience of being on a slave ship, um, also in an ayahuasca ceremony. And so there's this awakening of the memory of what my DNA holds, whether it's time travel or the presence of ancestors. Uh, I'm I don't have that answer, but I have been awakened to what trauma my DNA holds. And so how can I have all of those experiences live together without practicing spiritual bypassing? And that's one of the things I was taking on because I'm the rememberer. I also do a lot of ancestral veneration and honoring and lifting up my ancestors and sharing light with them. I also study trauma, individual trauma, ancestral trauma, collective trauma, and different modalities to heal trauma. And I do this work of creating one's future as well and becoming greater than one's environment. So for me, some of the things that I took on at this last retreat was one, acknowledge the ancestors. That's one of the ways to not practice spiritual bypassing. Acknowledge the ancestors, acknowledge the experiences that they've had, acknowledge the DNA memory that is being shown to me, acknowledge rather than deny. These things have happened in the past. And in the bypassing of it, there's also resistance of it. But in acknowledging it, then there's a greater chance that one can actually integrate, because integration is not about just cherry picking parts of our experiences, but being a whole person, having a whole experience, shadow and light, and integrating in such a way where the shadow does not consume our experience. And it is not something to be afraid of, but when we integrate those experiences, we can then also get wisdom from those experiences. So one, acknowledging the ancestors, acknowledging the hardships, acknowledging the trauma. And then two, giving thanks. Giving thanks to the ancestors for their survival. Without their survival, I wouldn't be here today to do the work that I am able to do. And so while I am not on a plantation, and my DNA carries that, right? And I'm not on a slave ship, and my DNA carries that. Being in communication with them and giving thanks, practicing that as gratitude. How can I give thanks to those who came before me? And in giving thanks for what they've survived, then I can fully embody this experience, these times, what I have available to me. And as I liberate, then I get to share that liberation with those who came before me that did not have access to some of the tools that I've had. And, each generation, hopefully, if we continue to do our work as a collective, will further and further and further and further expand so that it's not an individual experience, but that the collective gets to experience it as well, like the folks that I grew up in the projects with as well. Um, so that's the second thing, giving thanks. And then the third is relating to meditation as an opportunity to get free from the matrix. Again, I was looking at how can I orient myself in this work and also incorporate the work that I do around ancestral veneration and trauma work. So I relate to meditation as an opportunity to get free from the matrix. I relate to meditation as an opportunity to transform my body, transform my experience, transform what I get to create. So meditation as an act of reparations, meditation as a enlightened form of resistance, meditation as an opportunity to create using the resources, these ancestral resources that didn't get to tap into this energy stream of creation. Meditation gives me the ability to tap into all of that and to create powerfully. And then the fourth is I use my meditation time as an opportunity to fall in love with my future. And in falling in love with my future, I get to let more light in. Sometimes I find that falling in love with my future can be really challenging, especially if the environment is very loud and very tragic. And so, in that sense, I then tap into pretend. As children, we pretend. We pretend that there are sharks in the water, and we live as though that is the truth, or we pretend as though um, we have a certain profession. And so sometimes it means tapping into that childlike play of pretending this future that I want manifest is. And the value in pretending is that I get to have the emotional experience of that future, whether that future exists now or not. I get to have the emotional experience of it. And that is part of the liberation practice. So, those are some of the things that I took on at the Dr. Joe meditation. Those are some of the ways that I have been practicing using some of these tools of manifestation, of creating, while at the same time being aware of that which my ancestors have come from and getting freed up in a way that it has ripples through time, where it gets to free up those who came before me and also free up those who will come after me. Okay. Thank you so much for joining me for this share. If you would like to hear more, feel free to leave a comment about any other topics that you'd love to hear about. Feel free to like, share, subscribe. And this is Antoinette Be Free. My name is Antoinette Cooper, and I'll see you next time. Ciao.